Where does it say that? Good morning. I'd like to welcome you all to our open space. This is where we discuss topics from our conscious school, from where we have learned to be mentors of the topics that we cover in our conscious school. I'm here this morning with Fernando.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome.
In the epicenter here in Waterford.
That's a very important part, that we're doing it for the first time or second time maybe from Waterford, Ireland.
So we're very happy to be here and happy for you to have joined us here. This is a space where we deepen on topics that may have come up during our conscious school, during retreats, and also over our WhatsApp chats. So the idea is that we are sharing ideas that of topics that have come up, and we'll discuss them. And we would very much like if you could join us in the comments and questions, and we can interactively discuss the topics that you'd like to discuss, or talk about any of the comments that you have about what we're talking about.
Yeah, at the moment also we have Ciro there in Madrid and Giovanni from our studio in Madrid, and Ciro will read the comments that you write in the chat. So please, you're more than welcome to give us your opinion, your thoughts, ideas, everything about the topic we will develop today.
So I just wanted to talk about the two different WhatsApp chats that we have in English. One is called Conscious Integration, and that's where we discuss these deeper topics and comprehensions and the realizations of our inner evolution, basically, and where we are and where we're going in that. We also have a chat called Inner Evolution, where it's more chatty and we can get to know each other on a more personal level, and sometimes a very deep level too, and support each other and share what's moving for us in the moment also.
Yeah.
Many people share music on there, and it seems that very often the music that's shared, the topics that come up, is there perfectly for somebody who's on the chat. So it's very useful to keep in touch after the retreats throughout until we meet again in person.
Yeah, because normally we see here, people make new friends, new contacts, and they want to keep in touch. So that's why we have this Inner Evolution space for you to share and stay in contact and share everything that's happening in your life. So you can see the transformation and you can share it. And then we have this also WhatsApp group, which is, as she said, as Rebecca said, conscious integration, where mostly we use it to continue deepening into topics, specific topics that are moving during the week. And today we would like to continue with a topic that was, let's say, moving within that WhatsApp group. Would you like maybe to continue?
So we're going to start talking about entheogenic listening. So it was a topic that came up very often during the past retreat. It comes up very often during conscious school. No point in saying why. I was going to say because, but we'll deepen into that as we go. And just to share that the conversation here on Open Space is a spontaneous conversation. We may decide to talk about entheogenic listening, and it may turn into something else, depending on your comments, your questions. We're here to open the space to discuss with you the topics that are moving.
It looks like we're frozen.
Looks like we're frozen.
Okay, we came back.
I'm not sure if we froze there, but I was saying that we're here to discuss the topics that you're interested in, the topics that are moving for you at this time. Again, I invite you to question or comment on the chat on the right-hand side of your screen. And this entheogenic listening can turn into any topic whatsoever, because what we need to listen to covers all of the topics. Something that has come up coincidentally on both chats in the last 24 hours is pain and suffering. So we'll see how the conversation goes. Perhaps we'll touch on these topics also, because we could probably talk for 10 hours at least on each topic. So for the next 50 minutes, thank you for joining us. And I'd like to give Fernando the space to open the topic about entheogenic listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, not only in the chat, it was, we were developing the topic and the difference mainly between pain and suffering, but also here in Waterford, in the epicenter, we had a retreat in the past like 4 or 5 days. And coincidentally, as Rebecca said, we were also developing during integration, conscious integration, we were also touching and developing the difference between these two entheogenic words, let's say. And what we share here with participants was that pain, when we talk about pain, it's related with the body directly. And it's a way for us as human beings to be aware that something is happening in a physical level, and we can use that alarm. I don't know if you say like that in English, so please correct me, any vocabulary. It's like an alarm for us to continue with life. It means to survive in a way. So we can really use this to be aware that something is happening in a physical, material level, and we can react on that based upon that pain to continue with life. So it's really necessary not to have the pain, but to listen to that pain in our body. It can be like you're going, like you fell, or that you know that you're gonna burn, or an illness, a disease, headache, this kind of human experience, let's say.
Like I see them as a signpost in life. It's a signal,
yeah,
to say hello, and whether it's physical pain that you can say, oh, you know, why is my back aching? What have I done to cause this back pain? Or what can I do to heal it? And what can I do to prevent it?
Mm-hmm.
And this back pain can also be looked at in a sense of emotional pain. That it's a signal to say, oh, where is this pain coming from? What can I do with this pain? And how can I go through this pain in order to comprehend it so that I can let it go?
Yeah, I'm sorry, continue.
And so even the listening, we're talking about the entheogenic word and listening to others. This is also entheogenically listening to our body and our emotions. And instead, what many of us do throughout life is ignore. We block the physical pain, we block the emotional pain in many different ways. And what we're talking about here is opening up that space to listen to ourselves, listen to the other, and see how that can support us to move forward.
Yeah, it's totally connected with awareness. And as you said, because I may have this manifestation in my body, let's say pain, but I'm not really listening to it. So that's interesting how you're saying to become aware of, for example, as you said, if I have a backache, it's a backache, to really listen to that. So it's because the body is talking. So I may change my posture, or also if I have a headache, for sure something is behind that. Now it's coming to my mind now that maybe I need more water. I don't know. Something for sure is a message, it's a signal, as you said, that if we are really open to listen in an entheogenic way, we are just receiving all these inputs or these signals to how do you say, like to communicate with our body.
Yeah. And
with ourselves.
The tendency, the kind of message that we're given by society to do is take 2 paracetamol and get on with it.
Yeah.
But what is happening there is covering up the symptoms, ignoring the pain, and continue with your life as if you don't have a headache. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking 2 paracetamol, but if we look at that as a metaphor, that we use something from the outside to cover the pain, to ignore the pain, and then pretend it's not happening and continue with our lives, continue with our day, let's say. This is blocking and ignoring the signals that are given to us through our body. So the same thing when an emotional pain comes up, the same mechanism kicks in to say, what can I do to block this? So we might use a substance, we might cover it up with alcohol or drugs or distraction or many other ways, or just ignore, just pretend it's not happening. One of the mechanisms I have used in the past is to just be busy. I'll just, find some work to do, go and find somebody that I need to do something for, or do something to distract myself from what's going on in here. And we're not listening to ourselves, which makes it very hard then to listen to other people when we're having these open discussions. So you can see how the mechanisms have a knock-on effect from not listening to our bodies in the physical pain. We use the same mechanism to not listen to ourselves emotionally. And then as we're not paying attention, listening to ourselves, these things build on top of each other until, for me, it's like the pain is there, we ignore it, then comes the suffering.
Mm-hmm. The pain is there, then it comes suffering.
It's almost like the pain is there for us as a signal, like you said, to do something. Whether it's to just go into it in order to transform it. So you take a look at the pain. Maybe sometimes you don't need to find out where it came from. Maybe sometimes it's just a matter of not blocking it. And I feel like the suffering comes from ignoring it, from blocking it. It's almost like at first your body's saying, hello, can you do something here? There's something that is preventing me from seeing my potential, from seeing the love. And we go, yeah, I'm not listening. I'm very busy. I have other things to do. I have children, I have a house, I have a job, I have all these other things to do. And when we continually block that pain, don't listen to that signal, it's almost like the suffering appears, that now your body or yourself is saying, please, I'm shouting at you now, please pay attention, listen to me, help, do something.
Yeah. So now that you opened the discussion with the difference with suffering, in the middle of between pain and suffering, as you said, in the middle we can have another word which is block or ignore or ignorance. We were saying also at the beginning that pain appears as a signal, as a natural signal, also that we can use as a tool to continue our evolution.
Yeah.
You know, to adapt, to survive. And then we come with this action that we can either ignore or listen. We can say that nowadays, most of the time, people ignore pain or ignore this signal, so they are not open to listen, to receive this information coming from the body, from the natural way of communicating with everything. And then we cross towards the other side, which is suffering. And suffering is optional. We also say in Spanish, we have a saying that pain, el dolor. Yeah, okay, I don't remember now this moment, but it's something like the suffering is optional. It means that suffering is a mechanism.
Pain is necessary, but suffering is optional. Something like
That's
that.
in English?
I'm suggesting.
I thought, no, because it's necessary. Like,
pain
it's useful, I would say. Pain is useful more than necessary, but in Spanish, I don't know in English. You know, and the suffering is optional in the sense that we, as human beings, we have the option to really observe and transform. Pain, in the sense, if you burn, you're gonna feel the pain, and you just can observe, and in the sense of okay, and do something. But suffering is, let's say, more psychological, more emotional, as you said, And I would really like to go there, but before going there, you wanted to say something?
Well, I was going to say we could talk for another hour about whether pain is useful or pain is necessary. I actually think pain is necessary in order to see, to hear these signals, in order to learn, in order to evolve. So, and for me, it's like the pain is necessary in order to see the signal of what it is that is the next thing for me to focus on, to transform. The biggest opportunities for transformation are the hardest, painful situations or moments or traumas. They're the gift that we're given so that we have this signal in order to take a look at what's happening, what's moving for us, and we can transform. Without the pain, how do we know where to go in our life? These are signposts, for me anyway. I'd love to know if anybody has any comments about this, because as we know, every single one of us on the planet has had some pain, whether it's physical, and most of us, no, all of us, have had emotional pain. All of us have had conditioning from, our mother, our parents, society, that we've taken as emotional pain in order to create these mechanisms of how we react to situations in life. And generally, we look at this pain as a bad thing. We judge that it's a bad thing that this happened. And you can flip that around to thank you for this signpost. Thank you for this signal to show me something that I can delve into in order to transform and evolve. So, in that sense, to me, pain is necessary and also useful. And then, as you said, the next part, almost like, for me, it's like then ignoring that and not doing that. Part somewhere from your soul or somewhere is screaming out, which is the suffering. That goes. And maybe if we're not listening to ourselves, the suffering is a signal to listen. And some of us suffer for a long time before we suddenly go, I'm done with this. I think I'm going to go inside and take a look at this suffering, this pain, and see how I can transform it. And this is many times why people go searching for something, and many times come across the inner evolution retreats where they can find some support to take a look inside. And transform that pain and suffering.
The idea also is if we can observe the difference between pain and suffering, I really feel that a big door opens to identify, as we are saying, if this is a tool to evolve, as I'm trying to develop the word pain, or if it's a mechanism that prevent us from evolving, which is more the suffering energy. In which sense? As I was saying at the beginning, pain is this signal that we can either listen or ignore. But if we ignore, it means that there's something against this normal movement or flow of things. So we are going to stuck or stop something natural. And out of that emerges a mechanism, which is something that repeats and repeats and repeats. And that's more the energy of suffering. That's why we say it's optional and it's also unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And we mix both energies of both words. When we say that I'm in pain or I'm suffering, we think that those are the same thing. But actually pain, as I said before, is more something we can use to become aware and to be open to life and transformation and to the new, because pain is letting me know that this is the way. Like it's these signals, like in the how you say in English, it's
signposts.
Signposts, but I'm talking about the cars and this thing that we have here outside. Motorway.
Yeah.
Like in the motorway, that you know you can read those posts.
Signposts.
And what I'm trying also to say now, it's
we can read the signposts, or we can just drive past. It says to turn left, and we can just go straight if we feel like it. And
yeah, and that can lead us, if we ignore them, for sure we're gonna crash. And we're gonna suffer unnecessarily. But if we really listen to our body, we listen to the universe and the existence, we are gonna evolve. And then, based upon what you've said before about suffering and pain, there was something that I want to maybe develop a bit before the comments that we have on the chat. That is, we in Conscious School, we talk about being identified with something, with a belief, with an idea, with a conclusion, that when something happened in my life that maybe caused pain, if I get attached to that, if I get identified with a situation, that's when a mechanism is built. And then that mechanism, if I give it power, if I get identified with it, it is going to lead my life, and it's going to repeat and repeat. And whenever something similar to that experience arrives, that mechanism is going to be activated. And actually, I'm going to be closed to the new. Because, for example, when something happened that maybe, I don't know, I how do you say in English? I went into pain. Is it right? Like I don't want to say I suffer, because I want to use the word pain. I live a situation with someone.
When pain arises.
And I don't know, something happened. And at that moment also there was this song at the background. And I was, with all this situation. And then in the future, in another situation, I just listen to that song, and I have, let's say, the possibility to, that mechanism will be activated again, and I can suffer. Because I'm going to create, in the mind, I'm going to create all the scene or the scenario again. There's this one thing. And what I want to say with this is, if I am identified with the situation, I'm going to be close. I'm going to be trying to grab things, not let it go. And that's when I suffer. But if I'm really loose, I don't know how to say in English, like relax, and I accept, and I'm open, everything that happens, if I say yes, as we were talking during the retreat here with participants, if I say yes to everything, I'm not going to suffer, because there's no I to suffer. It's more really going with the flow and accepting everything, including people that die. And it's really hard to say like that, because you accept everything that happens. Like a relationship finishes, and you accept, and you're open to something else. You accept a disease. You accept everything that comes into your life. So there's no space for suffering. That's why we say also that's optional.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do not accept something, it's like, I want it my way, and I'm identified with my identity here. I'm a healthy person. I don't know, I am your partner, and you are my partner.
Or something is wrong.
Or, yeah, and that's in based on that identity, you are not going to accept something different, because that difference will be wrong. That's when we are identified, we are attached, and that's when suffering starts. But if we are open, we let it go, we have our hands empty to receive the new, and just not just to grab it, but just to receive, and it flows. So that's for me, not for me, but for what I wanted to share, the difference between pain as a signal, and suffering also as a signal that I'm attached, that I'm identified with something, that I can listen openly to release control, to release everything, to open myself up and accept life as it is. So now, if you agree, we can go to the comments. Yes. And questions that Ciro will read.
Hi, Ciro.
Hi. You're listening?
Hi.
Okay.
Yes.
We have a comment from Steve. He says, "My pain is the pain of not finding that someone special to love. The more I seek them, the more pain I feel. Is this a signal to just stop looking and let it find me?"
Thank you, Cito. Thank you, Steve. So luckily the question, the comment came after what we were sharing. I will repeat again. The more, of course, we have our reasons to be closed and to be like attached to an idea, but this kind of I would call it suffering, not pain. But also, if we can, they can be synonyms if we are really open to this new idea that either pain or suffering are signals that I am. Yeah, but it's not the same. I would call it that suffering is more like I am closed. I'm identified with a situation, and I'm not letting it be as it is. I want it my way. When I say it my way, it's identity, it's ego. It's I want to continue believing the ideas that I have about myself. I do not accept that things are actually changing, evolving, and then that's when I punish myself. I mistreat myself and I mistreat existence. And that's basically what we do here during the retreats with participants. They come and they talk about they share their stories. Most of them painful stories, let's say. What we try to do at that moment is, and Steve knows because he came here, is like we say, you are not your past. You are not what you think you are. In this sense, the meaning of that phrase is open yourself up to new ideas and release what you think you are. As soon as we can release the idea that we have about ourselves, that suffering finishes and really ends, because it's like we move forward. We give I don't know how to say in English, like one step forward, and you release the past.
And somehow, by the question, can you remember exactly what the two options? He gave two options. Should I?
No, I don't remember.
For me, it's even saying, well, there's either this option or this option. Do I go seeking for it, or do I just open up to receive? It's also about trying to control how it's going to happen, and not being open, as Fernando was saying, to receive, let's say. Someone said to me yesterday, oh, this is happening for this person, this is happening. Why can't that happen to me? And I said, the answer is in the question. Because the question, why can't, is actually confirming that it can't happen.
So what I feel when you said that example is, again, is this childish ego that we have all to observe. It's like, I want it my way. Why? That's the child saying, this is not happening to me. I want it happening to me. And Alberto normally says that is that like the child asking to the father, which is in this case, we asking to the existence, listen, I want this, and I want it now. Otherwise, I'm gonna be like crying, and I don't know in English. I need more words, but it's like
throwing a tantrum.
All of these, childish, demanding, la la la, and it's like being like tuned with life, like
In tune
in
with
tune,
life.
being in tune with life. It's really accepting also that we, this is complex, but it's like we are God in the sense like there's no father and son. It's we are everything, and it's really complex to explain this now here, but um, accepting that what's happening to me, it's meant to happen that way, and we need to be really careful here who's listening. We always say that, because if we talk about characters and stuff, and if there's some character there that likes to punish, it's going to say, okay, so this suffering is necessary. Again, I bring this word.
Yeah, it's
And
optional.
we need to really be careful with that, because love, life, existence is not about suffering at all. If you are experiencing suffering, that's a signal that you are attached to something, to an idea and a belief. It's really complex. That's why we always ask to you to interact with us and share your comments and ideas, so we can really go into specific examples. But the general thing would be this: that if this is really about suffering and not about pain, suffering is showing me that I'm attached to something that I don't want to release. I, in the sense of identity.
Or attached to the pain, identified with the pain, whether it be, as I was saying before at the beginning, whether it be physical pain or emotional pain. Both are signals. And rather than looking beyond what the pain is signaling, what is signifying, or what it's trying to tell us, we can just see the pain and identify with the pain and hold on to it as this is who I am. I am somebody who has had such and such happen, or this trauma happen, and this is the pain that I have, and it's mine, and I'm going to keep it and identify with it. And to me, this is eventually then the suffering occurs in order to say, just look at it, take a look at the pain, take a look at what it is that's coming up, so that you can let it go and not identify, disidentify with the pain, disidentify with the trauma that occurred to create the pain. And once you can let that go, the suffering dissolves. There is no suffering. Once you can go through that signpost, follow the signpost, go down the rabbit hole, and see that actually there's nothing there that you need to identify with and bring with you. You can let it go.
So today we're going to finish 10 minutes earlier, because Monday, Tuesday, and today we are going through mentoring and leadership workshop with Alberto Varela from Madrid. So we are now inviting all of you to continue with us online and join us this workshop that we're having now in 10 minutes, and then in the afternoon also. I think it's at 6 Irish time, so it's at 7 Spanish time. And thank you very much for being there. I would really like to continue developing this topic. We can continue on our conscious integration WhatsApp chat. And now in my case, for example, I'm thinking about pain and the body, and when we are also not just identified with emotions, but also with the body. That's another topic, especially when we are going through a disease experience. like, I don't know, cancer or any specific disease, like really, let's say, complex disease.
Fibromyalgia is a big one
Yes.
that many people suffer with. I myself have a lot of experience, personal experience with this, so we may deepen into those topics later. We're here on Open Space in English every Sunday and Wednesday morning, and also Wednesday evening. Not sure about tonight because of the mentoring leadership workshop that we're doing.
Yeah.
But I can share on the chat exactly when we will, and we'll be sharing links on the chats to invite you to join us in these broadcasts.
Changing a little bit the subject before finishing, just because I'm observing myself into the camera, I would like to say hello to Carmen and Bruno. They are our colleagues and friends from this our family. They have a new soul with them, a son called Libre. And I just remember them because I have Bruno's, how do you call this,
Sweatshirt.
And normally I'm wearing his clothes. So, so hello to them, and congratulations for this new member of the family called Libre. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye-bye.